Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I think it's 9 o'clock. I think we can start. Okay, so this briefing is about the online final examination guideline that we have at UTM level that you can go through to help you with your online final examination preparation. Okay, so we have been using this guideline since last year. However, I'm afraid that many of us are still not aware about this guideline. So you can find this guideline here. So this is the cover page. Okay, so what's written in this guideline is the following. Okay, we have the guideline in English, written in English, and we divide the guidelines into how can you step-by-step processes on how can you carry out asynchronous online exam or synchronous online exam. We also have in the guideline the online examination procedure for students, as well as the general online exam rules and regulation, because we usually we have rules and regulation for the face-to-face exam, like before 15 minutes the examination ends, you cannot leave the hall, things like that. However, we are not really clear on what are the rules and regulation for online exam. So in this guideline, we have the regulation, and we also have the frequently asked question. So UTM Lead has also engaged students, and we also tell students that they have to be aware of the online examination rules and regulation. So the students can also read the same guidelines as the one that has been prepared. And this session is for lecturers per se. And for students, we are currently doing the roadshow in different sessions. We go school by school. Okay. So in the section for asynchronous and online exam and synchronous online exam, what we wrote in that guideline was that what are the steps that you have to take before you want to carry out the exam, during the examination, and after the examination. Okay, so this is maybe you have to be aware of some of this information before you carry out online final examination. So make sure your students are aware about the internet availability form. The internet availability form is actually more or less on how can our students check our what is the minimum internet requirement, the bandwidth requirement for online exam, as well as what is the minimum hardware that they have to have. And if your student tell you that they have problem in accessing internet connection at their current location, or they do not have the minimum, they do not meet their hardware doesn't meet any minimum requirement as indicated the internet availability form. Okay, ask them to fill in the Google form that has been circulated at the faculty. I think we have circulated that since last week. There is a form where the students can apply to sit for online final examination at the nearest campus in their current location. We currently have 41 students filling in the form. So please make your students know that this form is still available, and they can fill that form until 10th of January 2021. Our exam starts on the 7th of February for Johor Bahru and 8th of February for Kuala Lumpur. Please engage your students and ask them if they have problem in doing online final examination at their current location, because as we know, we currently have flood here in Pahang, in Johor Bahru, in Johor as well. So some of our students, they can apply for this, sitting for final examination at their nearest campus if they have problem with internet connection, if they have problem with conducive environment for exam, if they do not have a conducive learning environment for exam, they can also apply to sit for final examination at the nearest campus. If any of your students, let's say they want to have their final examination in UTM Johor Bahru, let's say they are staying in Pontian. Okay, so Pontian and Skudai is not that far. please let them know that if they want to apply for final examination at UTM Skudai, they can do that, but we won't be providing any accommodation. They cannot stay inside the campus. So if let's say they have like 4 subjects that they have to take online, that they have to take online final examination, so they have to come and go every day. In every day that they have the final exam lah, they cannot stay inside the campus. So please please also tell your students about this information, because we do not want the students to assume that if they apply to have their online final examination in UTM Skudai campus or in UTM KL campus, that doesn't mean that they can stay in hostel. So I receive this kind of questions. So please, if your students ask you, please let them know that they cannot stay inside the campus. Instead, they have to come and go to the campus if they want to attend their online final examination in UTM Skudai or UTM KL. So I think that is some information about if you want to have your students having an exam at the nearest campus. They can also have exam, for example, if they are in Sarawak, we received some requests from our students that they want to have their final exam at College Community Kuching, if I'm not mistaken. So that is also possible. So tell your students that just put whatever institution that is nearest to them. We will try to arrange that, but this has to be done before 10th of January. Okay, so in the guideline, we have 4 types of online final examination. Now, the same information will be also available later on in students' UTM Smart application. Okay, so previously, we have asked the faculty and schools to collect information about what is the final exam method that you want to carry out for your courses. Okay, and it is also okay if you do not have any online final examination. If, for example, you say that you tell us that you do not have any online final examination, you say that your summative assessment is about having a project or things like that. So this whole thing is not really relevant to you, because this briefing is if you want to have online final examination, where usually traditionally we have paper and pencil, and now we want to have it online. So for that reason, you can have 4 ways. You can do your final examination, online final examination in 4 ways. Number 1, you can have your online final examination asynchronously, and you can also have your online final examination synchronously. And if you want to have your online final examination synchronously, you can also do this in three other ways. Okay, so the difference between asynchronous online exam and synchronous online exam is that in asynchronous online exam, your students do not have to be connected to the internet during the entire exam duration. Let's say you have your exam duration is 1.5 hours. Okay, so you might instruct in asynchronous online exam, you might instruct your students to first download the exam papers, and then they can answer the exam papers without internet connection. And then later on, maybe after the exam duration has ended, then you might want to ask your students to upload their answer script. So this is an example of asynchronous online final examination. Okay, we will talk about that later in detail. So synchronous online examination with online invigilation is when you have your online examination being conducted live, and your students have to be connected to the internet throughout the exam duration. Meaning to say, if your final exam is conducted within 1.5 hours, so your students have to be connected to the internet throughout the 1.5 hours. So this is what it means by synchronous online exam. And if you want to have your synchronous online exam with online invigilation, it is similar like the current session that we are having right now. So let's say me as the invigilator, so I will be observing, I will be asking my students to turn on their camera so that I can invigilate their learning environment, and whether they are at their desk at the moment they are answering the answer script. Okay, so this is quite this is not well, it requires a lot of effort if you want to, you want to monitor all your, like for example 300 students on the camera. So you might ask your school to appoint also another invigilator to help you to invigilate other your students when you are having this synchronous online exam. If you have your synchronous online exam using online proctoring, that means you will be using the proctoring system provided by university, and your student's screen, computer screen, will be recorded, and then the recording will be made available to you. And it is not necessarily you don't have to be there, because there will be someone else who will be invigilating your exam. Okay, so this is the service that the proctoring is providing. Okay, number one, there will be invigilator, which is not among us, the lecturers, okay, being appointed. And our screen, our students' computer screen will be recorded, as well as their learning environment will also be recorded during the whole online exam duration. Okay, number three, you can also have your online final examination without invigilation and without proctoring. Okay, for this reason, for example, some lecturers, you can use this method if you want to have like open book tests. So obviously there is no need for you to invigilate, and there is no need for you to proctor, for example. Or if you say that you want to have your final exam in e-learning, and that you have created 2 or 3 sets of online examination papers, and then you have random your questions, you even random the answers. So you say that you might say that I have been the concept of fairness some of the exam is somehow there, so there is no need for invigilation and also proctoring. So you might also have this kind of option for your online final examination. Okay, up until there, do we have any question? Yes.
Boleh tanya soalan?
Yeah.
Kalau kita buat synchronize tapi manual invigilation boleh kan?
Boleh.
Biasanya itu yang kami buat lah.
Boleh, itu sama yang macam number 1 ni tadi.
Okay, alright, thank you.
Alright. Okay. So this is just the detailing of every online final examination method. Okay, as I explained just now, number 1 is asynchronous online final exam, where the students are not connected to the internet throughout the exam duration. However, to protect the integrity of the exam, we highly recommend for you to have 2 types of submission: the interim submission as well as the final answer submission. So this is not this is not to avoid, this is to lower the risk for students to, let's say, if you say that your students are copy paste their friends' answers, so this is to lower the risk, because they might not have the time, they have very limited time to copy paste, because there are 2 times of submission. However, we cannot deny that in these cases as well, our exam integrity can also be challenged. However, if you think, this is just a suggestion, however, if you think that my students are, you have done this before and all the students are performing, they don't have this kind of problem, so you can also stick to a final answer submission, and to avoid interim submission, because some students says that these processes, 2 types of submission, it takes some time, and they have their internet connection problem, and to have these 2 times of submission is even worse lah. Okay, so you can also opt for only final answer submission if you think that you are okay, and you know that your students are okay with that. Okay, so for this reason also, please protect your exam question with password, and let your students know the password after after you make sure that all your students have downloaded the exam question. Okay, next is the synchronous online exam. with online invigilation. So you can have your manual online invigilation, like one of our colleague asked just now. Okay, so if normally you have 3 hours of duration of exam duration, we highly recommend you to break that down into 2, for example. Break that down into 1.5 hours, so that the students can have a toilet break, or they can have break between their exams. So divide that into 2. Okay, part 1 as well as part 2. And for this reason, there is a need for human invigilator. That human invigilator can be you. You can also ask for your school to provide pengawas peperiksaan online invigilator as well, so that you can divide the session into several sessions, so that your other invigilators can help you to invigilate online. Okay, so this one, currently we are sorry that we have to allocate this service, synchronous online exam with proctoring for programs that requires for programs that will be accredited by professional body only. If any of you are currently teaching these type of courses, please let us know by email, and then we will help you to set your online exam with online proctoring service. And finally, the one without invigilation and without proctoring. So this is useful if you have your open book exam, and also if you have your online exam, you have randomized your question, you have randomized even the answers, so you can have this kind of online examination. Okay, so for all the online final examination methods that I have explained, this is general, not advice, general reminder. So please make sure before the exam, you have set up a platform for your students to communicate later on during exam. Let's say this is because if sometimes, if in the middle of the exam, your students have problem assessing the questions, or they have problem with internet connection, please let them know that you are reachable at what number, or are you reachable by WhatsApp? Are you reachable by Telegram? Or what is the platform that you will be reachable from? Okay, so let your students know what is the platform that you can communicate with them in case they have problem with online exam. And during online exam, please make sure to take your students' attendance, and if you have your manual invigilation, you can check the students' environment, and please be reachable and available during the whole exam duration. Even if you appoint other invigilators to help you to invigilate, please as a lecturer, be reachable during exam duration. Okay, and if you ask your students to upload and download the question, please allow for buffer time up to 30 minutes, for example. You can allow for more, but I think you have to do that case by cases. But we highly recommend if you can say that to everyone that, okay, I allow 15 minutes now to download the questions, and another 15 minutes later on to upload the answers. But if there is students coming to you saying that I still have problems, so you can give that buffer time individually to your students, but not to everyone. And remind your students to check their submission, because our courses won't be the only course that they are currently sitting for online final examination. They might sit for many online final examination, and that their answer submission is might be crossed with a different other subject. So remind your students to check that they are submitting the correct answer script, which is to your subject. And please tell your students that if, for example, they did not reach out to you during the buffer time that you gave, for example, your examination has ended 3 hours ago. Only then they come to you and say that, doctor, I'm sorry, I think I uploaded a different answer script. So you as lecturer, you have the right, we state that in online exam rules, you have the right to not accept your students' submission. Okay, so please let your students know about this information. It is available in the online exam rules and regulation. However, remind yourself again, if you come to me like 2 days after you have submitted your answer or 1 hour after you have submitted your answer and say that you submitted things wrongly, so you have the right to not accept the student submission. Okay, so have them check everything during the buffer time that you gave to your students, right? So after the examination, immediately after the exam ends, okay, please check your student submission and also remind also your students to check their submission during the given buffer time. So these are some of the general reminder that I would like to highlight so that you won't be, we somehow can protect our integrity of our online final examination. If you ask me, can we, how can we avoid students from cheating or copy pasting? I do not have an answer for that. But what we are currently doing is that we try to somehow protect the academic the integrity of the exam by having some further dates to have this exam. And finally, in our roadshow to schools with the students, okay, we started I think yesterday with Sekolah SKA. So we will be going from school to school as well. We reminded the students to name the exam answer format in such a way. So maybe you might want to also remind your students that they can name the file of their answer script in such a way. So have a name, matric ID, section and subject code before they submit to you, so that they are clear about, so this answer script is for this subject. And I hope it is easier, it makes it easier for us, the lecturer, to check as well the answer script that we receive from our students. I think that's all from me. Then I will be accepting questions. Do we have questions? Do we have questions?
Dr. Biha, ada soalan di dalam chat box.
Apa tu?
Ada yang tanya tentang deadline 10 Januari tu. Sebab katanya agak awal katanya.
Okay. I'm sorry that we have circulated that Google form, I think not even since last week, I think last 2 weeks. But we cannot extend the date. Reason being, we have to contact all these other institutions and arrange for surat kelulusan, the procedures for our students to go to that campuses. So we cannot extend this date. And it is and our exam also start on the 7th of February. So I'm afraid that if we extend the date, then some students who have exam on 7th of February, then they will have problem on the 7th of February that they do not have where to go.
Assalamualaikum, Dr. Biha.
Ya, Waalaikumsalam.
Sorry, saya ada tanya situ sebab saya masuk about 10 minutes lewat. I tanya, deadline tu apa? I missed the point.
Oh, 10 Januari adalah deadline untuk pelajar if they want to have their online final examination at the nearest campus to them. Contoh, currently katakanlah mereka dekat Kuantan. So, katakanlah their learning environment is not conducive for them to have their online exam at home, or they do not have internet connection, or their hardware is not working. So they can apply for having online final examination at the nearest campus to them. For example, they can apply to have online final examination at UMP, University of Malaysia Pahang, for example. So, but they have to inform us, and the deadline is on the 10th of January. We have circulated this information to all PP and PP as well at schools and faculty. And we also have been receiving 41 submission from the students. So I was just telling you so that please also remind your students about filling in that form.
So the student has been informed lah.
Yes, they have been informed, yes.
Okay, sekarang ni because of kita tak tahu berapa ramai yang terkesan dengan banjir semua kan. So whether they manage to receive the information ke tidak tu,
Okay.
So,
Okey, untuk banjir, saya telah semak dalam peraturan akademik, universiti, banjir adalah kategori bencana alam. Actually sebenarnya kalau pelajar banjir ni, katakanlah by 10 of January, for example, let's say, they did not fill in the form to request for having online final examination at the university campus. Actually, they are entitled as a students to have special examination, peperiksaan khas sebenarnya. But on the 10th of January, we will be discussing about this as well for students yang terkesan dengan banjir ni. Because terkesan dengan banjir ni dia ada dalam academic regulation bahawa mereka boleh sit for peperiksaan khas. Jadi kami bukanlah tak risau sangat dengan pelajar yang terkesan dengan banjir ni, sebab mereka ni memang dah, it has been written in the academic regulation that they can have a special examination. I hope that answer your question, Doctor. But we will, but if they fill in the form before 10th of January, we will, of course, assign them, whether because of pandemic or because of banjir, we will assign them to the nearest campus.
okay, alright. Thank you very much.
Assalamualaikum Dr. Biha.
Salam ya.
Dr. Hidayah SKA. Macam mana dengan student international? Atau kalau dia berada dekat negara dia?
Okay. Okay. Student international, I told SKA yesterday, there are also in fact international students who are asking the same question. We do not have currently the luxury of having this locating them to the nearest campus because I think I told our students yesterday, our international students yesterday, that we are sorry that we cannot arrange that for them. However, if they are currently located in Malaysia, our international student, for example, somehow they end up in Kuala Lumpur for whatever reason when they are supposed to be in Johor Bahru. So if they end up in Kuala Lumpur but they want to have final examination at the nearest campus, so for that reason, we can assign them to the nearest campus. Or if they are located overseas, we cannot do that. Somehow, we do not have the capacity to do that. That would be my answer, Doctor.
Thank you.
Assalamualaikum, Dr. Nurbiha.
Salam.
Nasir Amin from Mechanical. I have a comment rather on one of your slides related to things to do during the exam. You mentioned that we are giving 30 minutes buffer time untuk make upload the answer script. Our experience on one of our course, which is a very challenging course, kita ada tiga soalan. We initially give them 10 minutes before for them to download and read the question. One question each time. Kita release one question, and then we give them 15 minutes, 15. So that was our initial, the very first time we conducted. And then we found that there are few cases yang mereka ni dalam masa 15 minit tu, mereka sebenarnya sempat meniru.
Is it 5 minutes per question?
5 minutes per question, yes. We cannot. We think that we should not release all the 3 questions at once.
Okay.
Because in our opinion, budak-budak ni bijak juga kan. In our opinion, kalau kita bagikan terus 3 soalan, then they may likely some of them will assign one question for each of their friend, and then they can swap it, right? So they upload to one of us set up a Google form. They upload to Google form first. Then if they really could not do that, then they will send to their script to either WhatsApp yang ada dengan pensyarah dia sendiri ataupun dengan email pensyarah tu. So alhamdulillah, so setakat ini kita tak ada first problem, and with respect to the buffer time, I think kalau 30 minutes per question is way too much, too much for them to wander around.
Okay, no, I think because your point is that because you release the question one by one kan, Dr. Jadi, I think 5 minutes is a good way to do it. Kalau pelajar, provided that pelajar, your student seems do not have any problem, any internet connection problem, kan? But I think it is a good way lah. I think, in current situation, do whatever means to protect your integrity of your exam. I think that is a good way to do it, and it's good that you use Google Form. I would like to also remind to the rest of our friends here today, if you want to ask your students to upload the answer script, please do not use Google Drive to do that. So if you ask your students to upload the answer script in Google Drive, then they have I believe they have the luxury of being able to see other student submission. So like Dr. Nasir was mentioning just now, use Google Form. Ask them to have a simple name as well as maybe a name, and then upload their answer script in Google Form and not in Google Drive. In case any of you are having the intention to do the same method, so please use Google Drive. Please use Google Form and not Google Drive. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Nasir, for sharing. If your students have no problem with internet connection within 5 minutes, I think it will be great.
Ni saya Farudin. Dan dengan yang Google Form tu, sebenarnya dia akan save dalam Google Drive. Tapi dia akan save according to the directory yang kita set dalam Google Form tu.
Ya. Betul. Ya, dia akan dia masuk dan dia akan masukkan kat dalam kita punya Google Drive lah. If you're using if you created the Google Form using your UTM email, then all the answer script will be finally will be deposited in the Google Drive in your email UTM email punya Google Drive. Because we use Gmail punya for our email kan. So it will be, the answer script will be available in our Google Drive after they have submitted through Google Form. What I meant to say is, do not directly give Google Drive link to your student and then have them submitted, through that Google Drive. Have your student upload the answer script directly to Google Drive, but do that through Google Form, which later on will be deposited in Google Drive.
Okay, terima kasih.
Saya nak tanya, masa online exam nanti kita akan on camera, jadi sama ada kita perlu mute atau unmute. Saya rasa untuk senyap kena mute lah kot. You just need to pantau kan their activity through camera, so there is no need untuk unmute, I believe, unless initially if you want to have your if you want to have your instruction to your students. Bagaimana prosedur untuk pelajar tumpang exam di kampus terdekat? Okey, pelajar akan berada di kampus dari first paper dia sampai last paper. Yes, betul Dr. Halimah. Dia akan berada, kita akan tengok dia punya jadual exam. So we will look at dia online exam punya timetable. And then they will receive a consent letter from faculty. And then they bring this letter to that campus so that they are able to enter that campus. And then we will inform that student who will be the person in charge that they can contact to. Usually we ask the campus to prepare for computer lab for our students, because although our students having to have on exam at different campuses, they still have to carry out their exam online. Okay, jadi we ask that campuses to prepare computer lab usually. Okay.
Dr. Bia, Dr. Ramal here.
Yeah.
Nak tanya, kalau yang dekat kampus sana, ada orang jaga ke ataupun kita biar je?
Okay, dekat kampus. Okay, dekat kampus yang kat sana tu, biasanya yang ada adalah penjaga bilik. Sebab kita minta computer lab, jadi kita nak jaga computer lab. But actually sebenarnya they don't have any invigilator. No. We don't, because some of the campuses they ask for us to pay for invigilators, which we do not have that kind of luxury to pay for their invigilator, to appoint them as invigilator. But some campuses they do. they voluntarily invigilate our students during exam. But most of the campuses, they don't. They don't have a invigilator. And we did not even instruct that campuses to have an invigilator to invigilate our students during online exam. No, the answer is no.
Dr. Nabihah.
Yeah.
Okay. Last semester pun ada buat macam gini kan. So setakat ni apa pandangan daripada respon daripada last semester?
Okay, the whole exam ke tentang pelajar exam di ke kampus terdekat ni? Yang mana satu?
Ya, yang pelajar exam yang dekat tempat terdekat tu.
Okay. Feedback yang pertama adalah bagi saya lah pelajar kita ni kejap nak exam kat kampus tu, kejap tak nak. Itu nombor satu. Sebab kita dah assign kan, there are many students yang kita dah call UiTM Penang, macam-macam UiTM, tiba-tiba lepas tu dia tiba-tiba tak muncul je. Bila dia tak muncul, universiti tu dia bising lah juga kat kita. So actually for this semester kita minta lah pelajar to be firm and to have to confirm. If you memang betul-betul nak pergi kat campus tu sebab kita dah arrange dan kita tulis kepada TNCAA dia semua, minta permission, please tolong datang lah ke tempat tu kan. Jadi macam bila dia tiba-tiba tak datang, pelajar kita tak show no show kat situ, pun tertanya-tanya juga. Number one. Number two, setakat ni yang pergi, tak silap saya, dan kita pun ada menerima pelajar daripada universiti lain sebenarnya ambil exam kat tempat kita. So currently tak ada isu lah, so far tak ada isu. Dan cuma tempoh hari ada isu sedikit tentang masa peperiksaan, because some of the exam we can help part 1 and part 2 kan. Okay, sebab as I advised just now, if you have 3 hours of exam duration, you have to divide that into 2 sessions. So somehow they get confused about this part 1. Okay, itu adalah sedikit isu lah kat situ, sebab kita janji dengan universiti tu kita kena buka makmal komputer tu from 8 to 10 only, for example. But instead, rupanya okay, paper tu nama dia satu paper tapi rupanya ada part 1 dengan part 2. Rupanya exam dia daripada pukul 8 sampai pukul 12. So these are some of the things lah yang ada sedikit miscommunication when we were having this. But in terms of our student, we currently do not receive any complaint lah from our students regarding having their final examination at the nearest campus, because they have the letter from us, so that letter warrants them to enter that campuses to have their exam in that campus. So other than that, we don't have any other problem lah.
Assalamualaikum Dr. Bia.
Ya.
Azul Helmi dari Fabu. 30
minutes for buffer time ke, Cik Zul?
Ya, 30 minutes. Kalau kita ada first beginning 30 minutes untuk upload kan. So that tengah-tengah kita ada 30 minutes lagi, and at the end kita ada 30 minutes. So kita semua 30 minutes ni dikumpulkan, we have 4.5 hours.
Okay.
So we should write on the draft jadual peperiksaan itu mula daripada pukul 8.30 sampai pukul 1 ke ataupun 9.12.
Okay, ya sepatutnya macam tu lah sampai dengan mengambil kira semua buffer time ini. If not later on, we will have problem with locating our students ni dekat campuses ni. Nanti campuses tu nanti dia akan confuse bahawa macam you ada satu exam je, lepas tu sedangkan ni sebenarnya they have to be on standby daripada awal tu sampai pukul 1.30 tu. Satu kan, macam tu kan. So please consider also the buffer time when you are designing the timetable for exam.
Okay.
And then I think I have question about will the students be provided with tempat tidur? Okay, no. Okay, students ni kita kata they can attend, they can go to the nearest campus to sit for online final examination. Dia kena pergi the nearest campus because supaya dia ni boleh ulang alik. As I told you just now, if let's say for example we have a student staying in Pontian. Okay, and the nearest campus to them, they say, is UTM Skudai. Okay, so they want to have their exam in UTM Skudai because UTM Skudai is the nearest campus to Pontian, let's say. Okay, so although they are a student from UTM and they want to have online final examination at UTM Skudai, They have to come and go every day that they have their online exam. They cannot stay inside the campus. The same things apply if they are located in Kuantan and their nearest campus is Universiti Malaysia Pahang. So they have to come and go to Universiti Malaysia Pahang every day that they want to attend online final exam. Okay, so we won't. They cannot stay inside the campus. And they cannot stay inside the campus, they cannot, so they come there for the purpose of sitting for online final examination only. Okay, kena ulang alik. Okay, I hope that answers the question. To get a confirmation from you, is it okay if we split the 3-hour paper into paper 1, 1 hour 15 minutes, and then followed by paper 2, 1 hour 45 minutes, without any interim submission? So this 1 hour and 15 minutes, is that synchronous online exam or is that the asynchronous online exam? Kalau that 1 hour and 15 minutes of exam adalah exam yang synchronous, tak ada keperluan pun untuk buat interim submission. But if it is asynchronous, we advise you to have interim submission. Tapi kalau tengok duration dia macam pendek-pendek sangat. If you previously you do not have this kind of problem, of course you can do that without interim submission. Doctor, I hope that answers the question. Okay. Soalan yang sama, kita cuma mention masa 2 jam 30 minit tapi sebenarnya kita ada masa tambahan 30 minit. Okay, that masa tambahan, is that for you, for the students to upload the answer? Kalau that masa tambahan 30 minit is for students to upload the answer, memang there is no need for you to put that in front of the exam paper punya question tu. Masa peperiksaan adalah 3 jam. Sebab masa menjawabnya is only 2 jam 30 minit. Jadi masa tambahan tu adalah untuk buffer time untuk upload, download dan whatever Tok Nenek yang ada in between tu. Jadi there is no need, masa menjawab masih lagi 2 jam 30 minit. So there is no need for you to put that in front of the exam paper, front page tu, masa menjawab tu jadi 3 jam pula. Jangan gitu pula. Jadi masa menjawab masih 2 jam 30 minit. That 30 minutes is for the students to deal with the technicalities. Tapi 2 jam 30 minit ni macam mana? Asynchronous ke synchronous ni, Doktor? Kalau synchronous, kalau synchronous, saya cadangkan untuk pecahkan, okay, to consider buffer break ke apa ke, to consider toilet break ke apa ke. Tapi kalau awal-awal lagi dah pesan memang, okay, please have your toilet break lah dan whatever, semua, and kalau student pun nampaknya okay, I think bolehlah buat secara synchronous. But for health reason, so we ask you to divide that into 2 parts. Some of it is because satu adalah sebab supaya ada toilet break dan sebagainya. Secondly is because for healthy reasons lah. Okay, duduk depan skrin ni lama-lama tu macam agak terseksa juga kan. Jadi that's why we recommend to have to break that down lah. Okay. Okay, terima kasih Cik Zul kena tanya soalan bonus ini. Okay, jadi jawapan kepada e-learning platform ni, Dr. Syed ada dekat sini tak? Okay, in the first session, hari tu Dr. Syed Norris ada dengan kami, jadi dia explain lah. Okay, the other day masa kita tengah musim test tempoh hari kan, we receive complaints lah yang ada buat soalan drag and drop tu, lepas tu with 300 students and the system crash. The other day, if I may explain today, I was informed by UTM Digital, they have problem with database. Dia sebenarnya bukan tentang traffic. It's not about traffic. It's not about system. Dia adalah tentang database-nya. Okay. And in fact sebenarnya kalau kita ingat last semester masa kita buat online final examination, kami sebenarnya tak ada receive complaint masa buat final exam minggu peperiksaan. Okay, at highest point, saya difahamkan UTM Digital share dengan kami, kita pernah dapat 12,000 traffic at one point lah. Okay, jadi for this semester, for online final examination week as well, UTM Digital has confirmed with us that they are prepared to have online final examination, and the problem with the database that we have during minggu 8 tempoh hari saya rasa ke minggu 7 has been rectified. So that is what I can share lah tentang e-learning punya capacity to have to carry out online final examination. But please feel free to use other revenue or other platform. Okay, contoh katakanlah tadi for uploading for uploading submission kan, uploading files tu semua. Mungkin you think that untuk upload file, dia upload lah dekat Google Form, maybe you want to have the online exam tetapi dekat dalam e-learning. Please by all means, please do that. The only thing is that some of the reason kita kadang-kadang galakkan anda untuk menggunakan e-learning ni adalah because we can give you support if you have problem with e-learning. Kalau katakanlah anda, saya nak buat exam dekat contohlah kat tempat lain kan contoh. So our UTN Digital ni they don't have expertise in different other platform, so they cannot give you any assistant technical support for that reason. So that is why we encourage you to use e-learning platform lah for some of the reason. Okay, tapi kalau saya rasa untuk submission of answer script, of course, please by all means gunalah Google Form ke if you think that is easier, please do that. Okay.
Dr. Biha,
Yeah.
contohnya kalau masa exam kita nak mula tu and then suddenly platform yang kita pakai tu collapse ke ataupun dia ialah down at that particular time. Contohnya macam dah berlaku pada saya yang lepas, kita baru nak start test, masa tu kita nak guna Google Form je pun, tapi at that time tiba-tiba je Google kan yang hari tu collapse tu.
Hello,
Dr. Riha, boleh saya bagi some input. Kalaulah dibenarkan kita katakan terputus katakan 5 minit atau 10 minit kan. Di e-learning saya perasan kita boleh buat setting juga sebenarnya. Kita boleh allow second try. Kan kita setkan multiple allow tu kan allow tu cuma one time kan. Kalau kan dah habis session tu, kita masuk balik sebelum kita buka balik session tu, kita pergi kat situ, kita allow dua kali. Allow 2 times, and then kita set masa yang baru, tambahkan masa dalam berapa minit, 10 minit. Then student minta diorang standby lah. Terus masuk balik. Itu kalau dibenarkan sistem boleh buat. Cuma polisi kita je lah, benarkan ke tidak untuk buat macam tu, tambah gitu, ataupun kena beli session lain. Itu je.
Cuma tadi ini kalau soalannya belum dibuka lagi, Prof. Jadi kita bolehlah kan ni cerita kalau soalannya dah dibuka tu. Itu mungkin kalau saya rasa kalau belum dibuka, saya rasa is a good way untuk allow multiple times tu kan, kita setkan time baru dan dia boleh try again, dia boleh attempt again lah. Tapi kalau yang tengah bermula ni yang kita tunggu Cik Zul sekejap tengok academic regulation. But if it hasn't started yet, kata-katalah baru 5 minit kan, okay, mungkin pelajar nak tengok pun tak sempat lagi, jadi of course lah kita guna pakai tadi Prof punya cadangan tadi untuk allow multiple time.
Dr. Biha, dia memang tak stated dalam peraturan peperiksaan, panduan peperiksaan. Itu saya rasa balik kepada ketua pengawas punya budi bicara lah. Dia dah tahu macam mana keadaannya apa semua, mungkin studentnya ada problem ke apa. But let's say if only several student yang ada problem macam tu, tapi the rest more than 80% okay, success. So kita terpaksa opt pada student tu untuk ambil peperiksaan khas lah.
Okay, you want to have a manual online invigilation. We need to say you want to monitor your student using video camera while they are answering the scripts.
Yeah, exactly.
Answer script. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
And you have 160 students.
116 students. I have 2 sections that I'm teaching.
Okay. And you plan to do that synchronously, meaning to say dia kena do they have to download the exam question?
Yeah, from e-learning. I'll upload it on e-learning. Nanti dia pun akan upload dia punya jawapan dalam e-learning jugalah.
Okay. And the whole time they are answering, secara tu dia kena you want them to be in front of the camera lah kan?
Yeah, theoretically we want them to be in front of the camera lah, so that I can observe.
actually for this reason actually kita telah minta sebenarnya school sediakan jawatan kuasa, other than jawatan kuasa teknikal adalah untuk melantik pengawas peperiksaan ni, sama macam kita lantik pengawas peperiksaan kalau exam face to face, supaya untuk bantu ada 2 session buat exam contohnya, ataupun ada 3 orang pengawas peperiksaan yang pantau. Kalau secara face to face kan kita ada pengawas peperiksaan kan. The problem with scattering the time is, number one is you might mess up with the rest of their final exam timetable. Student tu punya exam timetable. Second, actually we when we ask the faculty or school to design dia punya timetable tu, we have told them to consider these time zone differences. Meaning to say that ambil satu titik tengah, waktu yang titik tengah kalau exam tu ada melibatkan final ada international student. But I understand it's not easy to arrange. How many students are involved? Your international students, how many of them yang ada this problem?
I have three international students.
How many exam question set do you have? Only one set?
I have only one set, but I'm open for suggestion if you ask me to do more sets. I only have one set at the moment.
Can I suggest you to have more set? Like maybe at least 2 set ke 3 set ke?
Tapi yang itu kalau macam tu nanti dia punya soalan dia tak setara, is it okay?
Tapi dia kena setara lah. Setara tu maksudnya dia punya level tu kena setara lah kalau soalan tu level sama.
Soalan tak sama.
Tapi kan Dr. Biha, if let's say that particular student dia tak ada back to back exam lah. Contohnya kalau fakulti decide dia punya schedule is one exam per day, I don't think it's a problem for Prof Intan untuk letak flexi time tu. Sebab saya percaya setiap fakulti mendesignkan jadual exam itu untuk mengelakkan pelajar ada back to back examination, which mean pagi ada, petang pun ada. Kalau boleh elakkanlah dalam kita nak buat online examination ni kan. Kalau boleh dia ada 5 paper, kalau dia nak buat paper tu setiap hari pun make sure that satu hari tu satu exam saja. Kalau macam Prof Intan punya case ni, kalau macam dia punya student ada dekat Sudan, let's say Prof Intan dah letak pukul 9 pagi untuk examination, maybe dia boleh letak pukul 12 tengah hari. So pukul 12 sampai pukul 5 ke kan untuk Malaysian time. So it will be okay untuk those Malaysian yang dekat tengah-tengah tu, mungkinlah tengah-tengah masa kita break yang interval tu dia boleh lah solat Zuhur sekejap kat situ. Ataupun kita start pukul 10 ke pukul 11 ke macam itulah. Perhaps that dia ada 1 exam saja per day. Kalau ada 2 exam per day, dia akan kacau lah.
I'm worried about the rest of the yang how many, okay, yang international tu ada 3 orang. Yang local ni how many?
About 20 of them.
20 Can you ask around yang 20 tu in that day, dia orang ada exam lain tidak?
They are okay. No, I haven't got the final exam punya schedule yet. So I do not know. Tapi itulah, if I got it, let's say tak ada soalan, can I do like what Dr. Cik Su mentioned just now? Is it possible for me to change the time?
Ya. Anjakkan sikit lah. Supaya ni provided that you don't mess with other people's punya timetable.
Alright, so I'll just discuss with them. If it's okay, I can change the time accordingly. I don't have to follow strictly the schedule given by the faculty. It might be on the same day, tapi masih dia berubah flexible sikit. Yeah? Okay, baik.
Yes. If not, then you do different set. There is another alternative. Okay. Prof. Noliza tanya, refresher course on ProctorU. We are currently roadshowing that with students. Kami akan roadshow juga dengan pensyarah lagi sekali. Itu rasanya kami buat sekali. We will do that another sessions. Apa lagi tadi soalan? Okay, Dr. Megat tadi cadangkan guna MetaCourse tadi. I think MetaCourse tu untuk case Dr. Haryati ni tadi dia tak berapa boleh sebab dia nakkan online invigilation tu. Saya rasa dia nak orang tolong invigilate manually tu. Depan kamera tu dia nak ada orang invigilate. So kena ada bantuan invigilation tu lah. Jika pelajar tidak boleh bermalam di kampus terdekat memang agak sukar, lokasi kampus mungkin jauh. Jadi, bermalam ni, Cik Zul, macam mana Cik Zul? Boleh ke Cik Zul?
Boleh lagi sekali Dr. Biha. Sorry.
Kalau sebab ada pelajar ni kan, kalau kita nak suruh dia ulang alik, lah, macam ada yang jauh kan untuk ulang alik. Perjalanan. Can we even consider that untuk bermalam di kampus ni?
Kampus kita ke kampus UA lain?
Kampus UA lain tu. I think
it depends on SOP kampus tu lah. Sebab mostly yang deal dengan kita pun memang dia akan datang dan balik.
Macam ni lah. Can we decide we have to do that case by case basis? Kita tak do that blanket. Kalau betul-betul lah pelajar tersebut mana doktor yang bertanya ni tadi?
Because kita kena relate dengan HCP tu.
Yes.
Kalau within kita punya ni tak ada masalah. Sebab
boleh tak Syaidah, kalau pelajar yang betul-betul sahaja ini, yang memang betul-betul dia perlu, baru kita cuba entertain, but we are not going to promise that to all of our students. No.
Yeah, agree.
Okay. Betul-betul perlu we try to entertain that lah, case by case basis.
Tapi kita kena make sure benda tu disiapkan awal lah. Macam Google Form tu kita ada 10 Januari kan. Let us inform earlier lah. Untuk buat benda-benda tu semua.
Okay. Do we have any other question? Pasal pelajar dari zon merah tak dibenarkan masuk kampus. Ini kami sedang mengusahakan lah ni supaya yang zon merah tu boleh masuk lah ni dengan spesifik punya SOP. We try to arrange that. Okay. Untuk SOP nya.
Slide ini boleh dapat tak?
Boleh, nanti saya minta juga please untuk emailkan kepada semua.
Okay.
Okay. If there is no other question, any tips for one day exam? One day exam, Dr. Zainul Abdullah. One day exam tu berapa lama masa menjawab? 24 jam juga ke? 24 jam masa menjawab Sebab usually kalau if you refer to previously we have engagement with Prof Fauzia from UUM, although you can have take home exam ni, memang boleh 1 hari kan, but masa menjawab dia sebenarnya hari tu ada juga dibincangkan masa berjawab bukanlah 24 jam maybe. Jadi katakanlah kalau for one day exam tu how many question do you have, please make sure dia setara dengan dia setara dengan SLP, dia setara dengan anda punya JPU, dia setara dengan anda punya markah yang anda beri. Sebelum anda decide untuk beri, dia pelajar ni deserve 1 hari exam. Please consider that lah. Kalau anda telah consider, kalau doktor dah consider faktor masa nak menjawab ni memang memerlukan 3 jam, masa menjawab ni untuk perlukan 2 jam. Saya rasa itu je lah kot tipsnya, kena setara dan masa menjawabnya kena sesuai, memang sesuai dengan level of complexity of the question, setara dengan GPU-nya. I don't see, that will be the tips lah. I don't see any other tips lah for that. Unless, itulah kalau dah setara then okay lah. Okay lah tu boleh dibuat. Okay? Alright. Is there any other question? Okay. If no, thank you very much. For the rest of the colleagues, later on we will have the same session, if I'm not mistaken, on 12th of January. So all of you who have attended today, you do not have to attend that session on 12th of June, but we will have another similar session on 12th of June. Okay, with that, thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Later on, who would like, whoever I have asked to reach out to me, please email me. And then we can further discuss some of the problems or hiccups that you have.